Hey guys, welcome to the Journey of Mela Lifestyle. Do you notice something different about me? I'm in a t-shirt. Yes. So you know how casual Fridays, or my kids used to go to a prep school where they used to have dress down with a purpose. So like if it was like a football game or if it was a holiday, they didn't have to wear their uniform, but they can dress down in the regular clothes, but it had to be with a purpose. They would call it dress down with a purpose. But I love, this is a t-shirt by Anine Bing. She's a designer that I like. And I just thought this t-shirt was so appropriate to start the new year, right? Like to come out the gate like a lion, like with a loud roar, right? No more whimpering. So welcome, if you're new and you're just joining us. My name is Camila Tibbetts. This is our first meditation of 2021. And we originally started these meditations last year when I wanted to share my process of launching Mela Lifestyle, which is a great website. It's an e-commerce site that has curated products that I, as a tastemaker, identified around the categories of beauty, wellness, home, style, and the website is great. But I think above all, sometimes when we start a business or we have a passion, we think we know how it's going to look, right? And so I thought, okay, I'm going to start this website and I'm going to sell stuff, because sometimes it's easier to focus on the product than the process. And I would have to say that the gift of the Journey of Mela Lifestyle, or even in the launch of growing Mela Lifestyle as a brand, has been the process of it. And one of the big parts of the process has been just our meditations every morning. One, because it allows me to just kind of be transparent and come to you and share like what's going on with my day, and encourage you, and to get feedback from our community, whether it's through our podcast, through YouTube, through IGTV, and direct messages of like how these meditations have really affected you and impacted you. And so my intention for 2021 is to really have our meditations be more of a series, and to really share not only about Mela Lifestyle, which is an amazing website and has amazing products, but really share more of me and the transparency of my life, because it is my opinion that a leader only grows, or a business only grows to the height of whatever the development of the leader is. And when you think of leadership, it's not just if you're a CEO or you have a corporation. If you're a stay-at-home mom, like, you're a leader, right? You are leading your children, you are leading your household if you're a caretaker, and it's important for you to be full, and for your cup to be full, so that you can give out to others and organize the people, places, and things that you have been assigned to. So for 2021, the series that we're doing this week is called The Invitation. And the reason why I wanted to start 2021 with the series, and the reason why I chose this series named The Invitation, is because I thought that's what a new beginning is, right? It's like, I'm a word girl. And so basically, if we define an invitation, it's a request to someone of being invited into something or a space, right? To be invited in, right? You're requesting to be invited in. And I would say, like, this is our invitation into what's next for us. That in 2021, in the first week of 2021, this is an invitation up for yourself. Like, what are you being invited into? Like, what is that something that is changing for you, and how are you going to show up for that? And so when we look at that, you can say, well, Camila, 2020 was just 5 days ago, but it's like, there will be an after this. And so that's our first meditation, right? It's like, after this. So there will be an after this. There will be an after this pandemic. There will be an after this, COVID. There will be an after this staying indoors. There will be an after, those things will happen. So what we do as a community, what we can do individually, is to build ourselves up and create strategic moves, thought out moves of how we are going to show up after this. I share with my kids that hope is not a strategy. We can sit and we can hope things are going to happen, but can you imagine, if our leaders, if our scientists, if our medical practitioners just sat around and hoped there was a vaccine, just sat and hoped someone would get it together. No, there was a strategy and there was a process. And I watched on 60 Minutes, I think it was 2 weeks ago, how the scientists, they were like, we believed in science, and this was our process of finding this vaccine. Like, whatever your opinion on vaccines are, that's a non-issue. What I'm saying is that hope is not a strategy. Like, it just can't be something that we think in our head based upon our feelings, and that thinking like something, heaven's going to open and there's going to be a solution. Like, we have to take part of the solution in our lives, right? Like, we're an active participant in that. And I feel like, 2021 is going to be a barrier breaking year, right? And what do I mean by that? Because a barrier is an obstacle or anything that's keeping you from moving forward, right? And so I feel like this year, 2021, is going to be a year where, like, obstacles that you've faced in the past, or things that you've had that you got to uncover about yourself in the midst of being inside, like, those things will get broken this year for you. Like, I truly believe that. So what is our first meditation day? Our first meditation is after this, that there will be an after this. And how are we inviting each other, and how are we inviting our mind, body, and spirit into the strategy, for our lives, into the plan for our lives, and, doing that good work, right? And sometimes that good work hurts, it's not easy. It's like I wake up every morning and I work out, and sometimes it's not easy, but there's a point like 10 minutes in, 15 minutes in, where something breaks, right? And then, like, I'm in a flow. But when I'm lying in my warm bed, or when, I have, I'm just sipping my coffee and I have on my bathrobe, I'm not thinking about when those endorphins are going to jump off and how good I feel. I'm thinking about, oh, I'm so comfortable. So first meditation is after this, like, really thinking about, what that's going to look like after this, and being an active participant in your process, right? Like, being an active participant in the tension of what was and what's to come, that we can actively participate in our barrier breaking season, that we can actively participate in, intimacy, in conversations. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and when I lived in San Diego, and she was a mentor, and she helped me sharpen a lot of tools that I had, and really guided me in a lot of ways, and helped me be the woman that I am today. And she asked me to do something for her that really showed my gifts in a private moment. She goes, I want you to do this for me, right? So if you think about it, it's like, I'm not going to share what it is, but it was almost as if a kung fu master, martial arts person, like, was training the student, and in private, told the student in private, I want you to try this move on me in private, right? With the master teacher. And so in this moment in Solana Beach in San Diego, my mentor, asked me, why don't you try this on me? And again, I'm not going to mention what it is. It's really private. And I did. Like, I had a lot of respect for her, and I was like, okay. And so I just naturally became, the woman that I am. I naturally pulled out the gifts that were inside of me and shared with her something that she had been grooming in me. And so after I did it, she was like, wow, you're really powerful. Like no one knows how powerful you are. And I remember 3 years ago, I was like, I know, isn't it great? Because for me, I always kept myself really small. Like, I knew I had these gifts inside of me, but I really didn't want to be, okay, here's the key word, exposed. And that there's a time in your life where who you are and what you're growing into, there's an exposure, and that exposure is very uncomfortable. Like, I think immediately when we think of exposure, we think of being naked. That's what it feels like. Like, if someone asked me, okay, I speak a lot now, in my life, but in the beginning, when someone would ask me to get up in the middle of a room and speak, I would feel that exposed. But again, going back to barrier breaking, and going back to what we're walking into in 2021, there's going to be a time where you're going to be exposed, right? Where the things that you're trying to keep small, the gifts that you have that you're like, only my best friend knows that I'm really good at guitar, or only my best friend knows that, I don't know, I can surf really well, or I don't know, whatever that is for you. For me, it was, I guess it would be like, if I made it really practical, like there are a lot of things in my life, like when you look at Mela Lifestyle and the brand, that I do really well that you kind of only knew if you were invited into my inner circle. And my team has gently encouraged me to start to share those things. So that's something that you'll see with the brand and with me throughout this year, is that me kind of opening up more and showing and taking you into, you know, those secret places of things that I do that is like, nobody wants to know that. Like, I'm such a dork. And my team's like, they want to know. Like, okay. So, and that's a level of exposure, right? Or, you know, for me, it's a level of intimacy, because people think intimacy is always like physical one-on-one contact, and intimacy is also, it's like, will you allow people to get to know those inner parts of you? Like, will you allow people, will you be vulnerable enough to, and walk through fear, to allow people to like really sit with you and walk through, you know, the mountains with you in the valleys. So I really want you guys to think about it as a community. I know you guys give me a lot of feedback of how these meditations have affected you, and where you're at in your life, but like really think about, I want you to start to think about intimacy on a different level, and really exposing yourself of the gifts that are inside of you, and how those gifts and what you have and what you've nurtured, like how you can present that to the world in 2021. So again, our first meditation is after this, that there will be an after this. And our second meditation is like to be supported. And what do I mean by that? So basically what I'm saying is like, in order for us to get to a level of intimacy, or get to a level where we're comfortable being exposed with the gifts that we have, and you know, we're dealing with that, you have to have some type of, you know, I talk a lot about an inner court. So you have to have that support system in place. Like, we can't wait until we get to the top of the mountain, until we're at the height of our power and our influence, that then we're trying to look for people to kind of support us. Because when you're at a certain level, like, people don't always have their best interests. So it's like, you know, I have a girlfriend, like, she's been my friend since high school, and you know, joking, we're on social media, but she's my friend that will be like, let's go, where we're going to bury the body. Like, she's just that down for me, right? And so I know whatever happens in my life, like, I can call Tammy, and Tammy, I don't know if she's on here, and Tammy is going to be there for me, because Tammy knows Camila at Mount Miguel High School. Tammy knows Camila when I had braces and headgear. Like, Tammy knows Camila, you know, when I worked at Contempo Casuals. You know, so Tammy has seen me through so many different areas, that when I became a successful entrepreneur and I had these other friends, Tammy was my friend that was like, but I really know you, right? And Tammy was my friend when all of that changed, and I moved across country and I started anew. She was still my friend because she still knew me. So I really want you guys to think about, like, who is that support system for you, like how you're going to nurture that inner court. And also thinking about some people that support you in one area of your life, you can't carry that with you into the goals that you have for this year. So what am I saying? Like, say you want to power lift. Like, someone recently shared with me that they're a power lifter, right? And like, say you want to power lift, and like most of your friends are like into hanging out, like into video games, you know, whatever. And so you know that this is a goal for you, like powerlifting is a goal for you in 2021. So these friends that you have over here, they're still your friends, they're still your boys, they're still your circle. You need to get some support around this goal that you have with powerlifting, right? Because like let's say I was that friend, I'm like, I don't know anything about powerlifting. So you wanna gain support that aligns itself with the goals that you have, right? Because if we're talking about being barrier breaking years, like, you want folks around you that have already achieved, you know, you don't want to be the smartest person in the room. So really looking at like, what is the support that you have? So my hope for you in this week, again, the series this week is called The Invitation. So my hope for you this week is that, one, that you realize there is going to be an after this. Like, there will be a time when like we'll be out. Like, I was on a workout this morning, and the instructor was like, when the first time I'm in a club, like after this is all over, he was like, I'm gonna go buck wild. So like, there will be a time where you'll be in a club, or you'll be, you know, in a movie theater, or you'll be at a ball game, and you'll be like, I remember when we couldn't even do this? So think about what that's gonna look like in the after this. And the second part is like really creating that support system for yourself, right? And that in the inhale and the exhale of life, we talk about that, mind, body, spirit, that in the inhale and the exhale of life, like in the after this, like you will be supported, right? You will be known and you will be exposed in such a way that it will take you to the top of the mountain, whatever that is for you in 2021. So thank you again for joining me on the Journey of Mela Lifestyle. Ciao for now. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye.